Hi, my name's Girly and I'm in Sydney, Australia. I may be an English songstress, but something that not many people know about me is I'm also half Australian. I've been coming to this place a lot since I was a kid, but this trip is very special because it's the first time I'm playing a show, my first ever Australian show, and my first ever Sydney Pinkies meetup, meeting a bunch of my fans here. In this episode, I'm going to be doing a bunch of Aussie activities and trying to find out the answer to the question, why are people so obsessed with Sydney, Australia?
Hey, it's Girly here. I have an obsessive personality and I'm on a mission around the world to learn more about myself by exploring what other people's obsessions are. What it is about them that makes them obsessed, keeps them coming back for more, teaches them about themselves, and what all the fuss is about that makes people stay obsessed with people, places, feelings, art, music, food, clothes, skating, life. This is my show I'm obsessed with.
On our first day in Sydney, we headed west of the city to the Blue Mountains National Park.
So pretty and green, oh my god.
I am currently at Wentworth Falls in the Blue Mountains National Park, which is west of Sydney, but I consider it to be part of Sydney. I might piss off some people by saying that. It's so beautiful here. There's this amazing huge cliff faces and Jurassic Park style land. I mean, I feel like living in a city, I never see this far into the distance. I don't know. The vistas are crazy. Smell. That smell, just always, since I was a kid, makes me think of Australia, obviously, because the tree's in Australia, but as soon as I smell that eucalyptus smell, I just know I'm here. It's really been beautiful to be in nature today. I've been really suffering with anxiety a lot of this trip, not to do with where I am, but just to do with other things going on in my life. And I think another big thing I've realized about traveling is that wherever you go, there you are. The things that you are anxious and scared and stressing about back home, they follow you, and that's been really tough. I think for me, I always have this huge expectation when I travel that it's going to take me away from all my problems. And it doesn't. It actually kind of makes you face them more, to be honest. But for that reason, I think being here over the holidays has definitely made me have to face up to some serious changes that need to be made in my life. I am an anxious person, and I think for me, it's going to be my lifelong journey, and it's going to be a lifelong quest to figure out how to handle that, how to cope with that, how to live and not be anxious, and how to be in the moment.
Would you rather be able to fly or be able to teleport?
I think teleport.
I think fly, because I feel like teleportation, everything, you just take it for granted. You could just go anywhere like that, whereas flying, it's still the journey to get there, and I could just fly over things and be whoa.
I'd fly over that. Yeah, but I could teleport to that port and just chill there.
Doing stuff like this, hiking, being in nature, feeling water, going barefoot, being in the ocean, I think that's all the amazing things you can do in Sydney that you can't do in London, You can just go to the beach, you can be in the ocean, or you can go to the waterfalls. You can drive an hour out of the city and be here, which is amazing. So I am very obsessed with the Blue Mountains. The gays are represented. I went to the Little Guy, a cute bar in a neighbourhood called Glebe, and interviewed Charlotte. What is your name? How old are you? How long have you been living in Sydney?
My name is Charlotte. I'm 19 and I've been in Sydney my whole life.
And what are your favourite spots to go out in Sydney, favourite neighbourhoods?
Probably Glebe here. I say Glebe like this isn't the only place I know. Newtown and the city.
What do you think of the nightlife in Sydney?
It's pretty shit, to be honest.
We don't like it. No, we do.
She's a bit dead.
She's a bit dead. What is one thing that you're obsessed with about Sydney?
The beaches.
Hey, I'm at Whale Beach in the northern beaches of Sydney, and it is a glorious summer's day, which is super weird because it's the 9th of January, which for me, being from London, means cold and depressing, but here it means fucking beautiful. And I am going to jump in the sea now. Fresh. Right now we're in Sydney, but the actual name of this land is Gadigal, and the original custodians of this land are the Eora Nation. You can't talk about Australia without talking about the rightful owners of this land. Aboriginal people, Torres Islander people are the original owners of the land. They possessed the land for 60,000 years until 1788 when the British colonised. There's an ancestral tie, there's this incredible spiritual connection of those people to the land, and it has always been Aboriginal land and it always will be, and the Australian government have a lot of reparations to pay and a lot of making up to do for the history of this place. Proportionally, Aboriginals and Torres Islanders make up 2% of the Australian population, but they account for 28% of the prison population. Their communities are underfunded, they're targeted by law enforcement, they are unsupported by the Australian government, and because of these things, they suffer from really high unemployment rates, high alcoholism rates, lower education. They're systematically targeted by law enforcement, and if that doesn't show institutional racism is at play, then I don't know what does. It's the most enormous misjustice. You know, for 60 millennia, they lived here in peace. They took care of the land and have a very deep spiritual connection with it. And the British colonisers and the white governments of Australia since then have done everything they can to erase them and their culture and traumatise their communities. And only in the last few years are people actually starting to talk about it in the mainstream here. On the plane over, when we landed, there was an announcement about the fact that we were in Gadigal country and paying homage to the original custodians of the land, which was promising to hear, but it's a lot of talk and there needs to be more direct action. My Australian grandma was in her 60s when she decided to go back to university, do Aboriginal studies, educate herself, help out in those communities because she was so passionate and outraged by the injustice that she saw. She campaigned for it to be taught in my dad's school, actual Australian history, not the whitewashed version. And she's always taught us, all the grandkids, about who the original owners are of the land and made us, you know, not take any of this for granted. She taught us who the rightful owners of Australia are and that we owe them everything, and I'm so grateful that I have her in my life and that she's educated me about that. I'm at Bondi Beach in Sydney and I'm about to go surfing and it's hella windy. Let's rip.
Pretty little lies that you put in my head. Should've seen it coming from the moment we met. When my best friend told my other best friend that their other best friend don't wanna be friends no more, and I'm stuck in a spider's web.
I put out on my Instagram that I was doing a meetup in this park in Sydney. Hopefully some Pinkies turned up. Let's see.
I wanna cut my hair and live the city life, 'cause I've become a girl who I don't recognize. On the guest list, so you're worthless, shouldn't have been there in the first place. I'm feeling like a fraud, who's gonna save me? I'm so paranoid that everybody hates me. Wear a big smile when it's in style, am I someone or in denial?
Oh my god, this is amazing. You are actually kidding me. Did you do this? I mean, no, you just stole it from someone. Yeah. This is, thank you so much. Oh my god, this is so sick. I'm going to put this up in my flat. I'm literally going to put it on the wall like,
I made sure I got a frame so that there was the most
thank you.
chance.
Who's coming to the shop? Yeah, oh my god.
You were sold out.
So if I can start off just getting each of your names.
My name is Bridget. I'm from Birch Grove.
Laura. I'm from West Pennant Hills, so the hills area.
Magella. I'm from Sydney.
I just wanted to start off by asking you guys what your obsessions are in Sydney or Australia. Like, what are you obsessed with?
We have a lot of good food here, so I really like just
You
going
do.
to restaurants. Yeah, we have like
You really
Spice
do.
Alley in the city, and like
okay.
that's just like full of like Asian food.
You guys have the best Asian food. Really good.
I'm obsessed with the fashion scene in Sydney. I think there's so much like emerging talent and like independent designers. I'm also really obsessed with like, I don't know, walking the city.
I do love to go to concerts.
Yeah.
It's become a big part of my life. So I was very keen, obviously, when I saw that girli was coming. I lost it.
The culture, the food, the live music. Well, there's a lot of really cool niche little spots like Oxford Art Factory, and there's so many little, I guess, out of the way kind of areas that people wouldn't expect, especially like from overseas. But yeah, it's always a really, really good vibe.
Probably the nightlife, obviously. It's fantastic. I love going out and seeing new things. And just the hustle and bustle of it. It's a city that never sleeps.
I'd say like local talent's pretty good. Like when you just go to a pub like on the weekend and
Yeah.
see someone playing.
What's it like when artists come to Sydney?
Amazing, especially if they're from overseas, because like no one ever comes here and
Yeah.
it takes ages to get here, and I'm like, it's just awesome that they're finally here.
Yeah.
So exciting, especially with COVID and no one was coming here for so long.
Yeah.
And it was probably, that was terrible when no one was coming, but then people started popping up again, and so I've been going to so many concerts.
It's really amazing actually, because I find, especially after the pandemic and stuff, a lot of artists have struggled to be able to come back to Australia in general, and let alone Sydney, so it's been really cool to see them slowly seep back in, so it's really exciting for everyone.
It's electrifying, honestly. Like, you get to have that energy of someone that you admire so much actually being in the presence of you in some vicinity.
How was COVID when you couldn't see any artists? Was that difficult, and how did you get through that?
It was tricky. It was especially hard because I feel like I got into so much music at that time.
Right, yeah.
I was so desperate to see everyone, and I just had to wait, I guess.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of like online shows.
Before COVID, it was almost like no celebrities wanted to come to Australia. After COVID, they're like, oh, Australia, hey. So I love that.
I did have concerts that were going to be after COVID.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, after COVID, they were cancelled.
Oh.
So that's what I looked forward to.
Yeah. What is your favourite girly song?
I know, so many. Just one. That's upsetting. Okay, right now, I would say Up and Down.
I really fucked it up this time.
Yeah, sticking with the new ones. I like it.
Hot mess. Because it's really empowered me, especially when I was first starting work and my journey, my internship with work. It really empowered me to just kind of stick to my guns.
My favourite song by her is probably More Than a Friend. Oh my god, I listen
Oh
to
my
repeat.
god. Yeah.
Jesus, I'm so lonely.
Neck contour.
Yeah, that's my favourite. Oh my god.
So you think you can fucking lead to, yeah?
Oh, okay, good. The classic.
Yeah.
Probably has been, I think.
Well, thank you guys so much.
I found some Pinkies in Sydney! That was so crazy. I don't know why, but I always, every show I play, every meetup I do, I just don't expect there to be people there. I think I forget how much like my music has kind of like reached people around the world. You see it in, you know, your Spotify numbers and like people commenting like, come here, you know, I'm from here and I listen to your music, but meeting real people. Like, we're in Australia, we're halfway, we're at the other side of the world from where I live, where I make my music. And I just told people on my Instagram to come to a random park and like 30 people showed up. That's feeling really grateful, actually. We're walking into soundcheck now, super excited to see what it sounds like. It's my first ever Australian show tonight.
She's such a husband, ain't her up and down and down. She's the goddess in the past.
Yeah, I just have one thing to put on the screen, but I think cool. Thank you.
I am sitting around the corner from Oxford Art Factory where I'm playing my first ever Australian show in like 20 minutes. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm excited as well. Yeah.
I'm playing a show in Sydney, Australia, beach. There's loads of people and I'm kind of scared, but in a good way. A bit scared.
Kill it, 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 kill it. I love you.
Design of the day, the month, and the second. Let's go! Oh, story, you're so boring. Woo! Hey, I don't really give a damn what they say, 'cause I know just who I am. I'm gonna go and do my own thing, baby. You can go and live your life without me. Hey, maybe you don't understand my language. Do I need to spell it out? S-I-C-K-Y. Tell me you're a star, 'cause I know I'm doing this. I'm a hot mess, 'cause I say I can't see me cry. Hot mess every day, because I'm just a hot mess. 'Cause I say what I like and what I hate. Hot mess every day. I'm standing here, I'm sweating, had a good day, how about you? Let's talk about things that ain't got next time we talking over me. Shopping shoes, I'm not to keep up, this is patronizing. Let's explain how you studied this at uni, so you know more than me about the thing that I've taken on my road. Why don't you make it a hat trick and comment on my look? I can be outlandish now, but you know, don't judge me. They say I'm a hot mess, I don't care what they say. They say I'm a hot mess, 'cause I know what I'm doing. Guess I'm just a hot mess, 'cause I say what I like and what I hate. Hot mess every day. I'm messy, I'm messy. Messy as a boy and I don't give a fuck. I swear I'm not terrible, I'm just get emotional. I end up saying sorry every time.
My name is Girly. Thank you so much, Magdalena B, for having me play before. I'm very stoked to see that show. It's going to be amazing. I am actually from London, England. You can probably tell my accent. But you know, I have family here, dual nationality, so I'm kind of half Aussie, I guess. I am half Aussie. but I've never played a show here, so, and I spent a lot of my life in Sydney, and I love this place, so this is very exciting for me. Thank you for turning out early and watching me.
Just to stick around, and I hate myself for making you cry. I know that I really fucked it up this time. I know that I really fucked it up this time. I know that I really fucked it up this time.
I wrote this song about imposter syndrome and feeling like everybody just fucking hates you behind your back and they're all pretending to like you. And then you just go through your life fucking everything up, basically. It's quite a common theme in my songs. This is called imposter syndrome. So you're worthless, shouldn't have been there in the first place. 'Cause I know what you'll say. Hey, hey, might be an imposter, maybe I'm a poser. What if I'm a fake? Hey, take it away. Maybe I'm a poser. Maybe I'm a fake. I'm such an imposter.
My trip to Sydney has been a roller coaster. Because of the time I spent here as a kid with my family, this city will always hold a special place in my heart. But coming back here as an adult has opened my eyes to so much more about this place. I'd be lying if I said my trip was plain sailing. I struggled with my mental health a lot over the holiday season, and being in a beautiful sunny place doesn't take away your problems. The more I travel, the more I realise that. Wherever I go, there I am. But being in Sydney, with its amazing beaches and mountains, spending time with my family, surfing, playing my first ever Australian show, travelling 10,000 miles across the world and meeting people who listen to my music. These are experiences that I'll remember forever. Sydney, I'm obsessed.